youth, everything as it goes on. So all this information has been adapted from the biology textbook, which we are supposed to use on the NCDC, with the NCDC curriculum. And so the key highlights that I want to emphasize is that we shall look at the backgrounds briefly, the key changes briefly. Of course, I've been informed that you have some information prior on the new curriculum, so I'll just be recalling small bits of it. Then we shall engage so much in the teaching and learning of biology, where I'll give a detailed account of the syllabus, and then how we shall be assessing biology, the examinations, and all about formative assessment. Because as you will see, we are not going to be having these termly exams, end of term 1, end of term 2, end of term 3, or even end of year, until you will sit senior 4. So sit tight and listen carefully for all these bits. Now, the key changes are in favor of you, that they want a curriculum which is going to develop a level of confidence and competence, so that young people develop the ability to apply their learning with the confidence in a range of situations that they find themselves in. And this will require an active, learner-centered rather than passive. I'm going to comment more about what I mean by active and passive. And previously, and even I think in your primary school, you remember that there was a teacher like me who was always the center of knowledge, and you, the students, would sit in class and I face you. So I'll be imparting knowledge on you. I teach you this is biology. For example, they will ask you, what is science? And whenever they ask what is science, that word re-echoes in every student's mind, that science is the study of living things and non-living things. Or what is SST? SST is the study of man and his surroundings. Like, that is knowledge which has always been there. Like, the teacher imparts knowledge and you, the student, you're just there to receive and receive and receive. And at the end of it all, they will give you an end of term test. You fail, they cane you, or they even chop you from your school. So that was the previous curriculum. But for this new curriculum, it's a new and competence-based curriculum, whereby the teacher is not at the center. No way. The teacher, I'm not at the center of, actually, I'm not the source of all the information. So we shall be having different activities, which may include stimulus material, your learner's experience, like you share with us. You stand up, raise your hand, tell us what you know. How have you experienced? Or problem solving, investigation, where we shall be carrying out certain experiments, okay? Group activities where we will be grouped, and then you share with your learner. And then field work, you'll be going to fields, you go to bushes. For example, for the case of biology, I may take you to a bush, and then we begin looking at those plants. You look at a plant and you ask me, teacher, which plant is this? I say, oh, this plant, who has seen this plant before? Who knows what this plant is all about? So I'll be like, we generate knowledge together. This time the teacher is not the center. Then for me, as a teacher, I'll be looking and observing and carrying out what we call formative assessment. I'll be telling you what formative assessment means in biology. And so that is the interaction which we shall be sharing together. So this curriculum is supposed to impart values whereby we as citizens in Uganda, we are able to live in peace and harmony. We are able to develop integrity and honesty. We develop that patriotism for our country. We develop a positive attitude towards work, self-control, and human rights. So all these things we are going to be going through. And of course, as I've just told you, that this information has already been shared to you, and that's why I'm rushing through it. It's so much. It's general. It's information to do with the general curriculum as a whole. So this curriculum is supposed to unlock the world of work, whereby you who is going to be employed, you can become a critical thinker and problem solver. You can become creative. Like I give you a scenario and you think for yourself. You can then communicate. You can cooperate with your fellows and you learn even when you're carrying out a certain activity. Then we can use calculations in form of tables, in form of data, and also using ICT. ICT, that is computer. This is a world of computer now. Okay, so for us in biology, it will provide you with a rich context to communicate, cooperate, and to think critically about how the world now around you works. For example, a mosquito bites you. So how do you understand that? What do you think is going to be the implication? Or how can you avoid it? So those are some of the general skills that we are going to be looking at. Now coming to our biology, this is the biology within the new curriculum. So this is the center of our discussion today. And of course, biology is a compulsory subject, whether you like it is about life. Who doesn't want life? Is there anyone who doesn't want life? Everyone wants life, and that's why we must study biology so that you can know everything about your life. Now, the NCDC has allocated periods, like when you go back to school in your senior one, you will be having 3 periods each week. Each week you'll be having 3 periods of biology. And then, of course, as you keep on advancing to senior 3 and senior 4, then you'll be having 4 weeks a week, okay? So that is the time allocation of study that has been allocated for you in biology. Now, what's the rationale? Now, why do we learn biology? In learning biology, it will enable you, the learner, to apply and use the principles of scientific method, science, that science which you study, so that you can be able to apply it, you can be able to process, and the application of different experimental techniques to solve specific problems in the society. So that you can write, communicate, and report biological concepts. For example, if you want to communicate how, let's say, malaria is spreading within your community, are you able to write using biological knowledge? Or you just say, malaria, okay, malaria is caused by non-sleeping under a mosquito net. Now, is that how a biology student would communicate? No. Biology will give you those scientific methods and principles so that you can communicate to your friends, to your jaja in the village very well and clearly. Now, when we're applying biological concepts, we want to better understand other fields of science so that we can readily accomplish day-to-day tasks. Because we shall see that biology is a sister to other subjects like physics, mathematics, chemistry, all those ones, they are brothers and sisters. So you must understand, address, and successfully manage health because you are able to all that knowledge so that you can face the challenge where we are learning biology. Now, teaching and biology, how is it going to be made? Okay, how is this going to be made? One, the new syllabus, you must know it is experimental and it is experiential. So you're going to experience biology rather than cramming biology. We shall have to experience it such that we can understand it. When you go to the bush to look at, let's say, plants or to pick out grass or flowers, so there we are experiencing biology, okay? And so these concepts are going to be designed to engage the interest of you, the learner, says that you can build life in knowledge with your experiences and now me, they teach this thing, knowledge and experience, because you are living, you are a living thing. So you have already experienced the biology. I don't know whether you're getting me. So that your experiences, we can build, like I'm not the source of knowledge in this new curriculum. And so you're going to always interact with real situations inside the classroom as well as outside when we are doing field work. But not forgetting that we shall be using books, we shall be using the internet, you'll be allowed to have laptops, gadgets, and probably phones in the near future when you are at school, okay? So that in this approach, you can be responsible for your own learning. You are going to be responsible for your own learning. It's not the responsibility of the teacher that I get a cane, Chiboko, I bring Chiboko, and I begin caning you. Because there, previously, I was responsible for you, the learner, to learn. But now it is you who is responsible for your own learning, because we're actually developing the knowledge together from your experiences. So you're supposed to think for yourself and form your own ideas and opinions so that you can become a critical thinker who is ready to face new challenges. Okay, and I think you saw in the lockdown, there were so many pressures to the science. You've heard of the president talking about his scientists. If you've heard of president commenting and saying that my scientists have told me, my scientists have told me. So what was he meaning by my scientists? You are the scientist. Now, I'm assuming you are the scientist to the president. And you cannot, first of all, develop your own idea. You cannot think. So how are you going to decide whether to lift the lockdown or not, or to leave the lockdown, or to vaccinate people, or not to vaccinate? Because people will be always giving you their own opinions. You know, the vaccine is going to make you become like a kangaroo. Somehow the vaccine is going to make you become what? In 2 years, you're going to die when they vaccinate you. Now, as a scientist, how are you going to communicate? How are you going to stand on your own opinion? How are you going to face the people? Okay. That is just the general information about what is going to be taking you. Now, this is the detailed biology that we are going to learn in our senior one. And actually, you are lucky that you are among the first people in the entire Uganda to experience what you're about to experience. And you're going to find that you are among the few people who know what you're going to learn in the new curriculum, because everyone doesn't know. And actually, if possible, keep informing your friends of this program and how, and even after learning this knowledge, go and teach them what we are going to be learning. Now, it's divided into themes. Of course, the terms remain term 1, term 2, term 3, okay? And the theme that we shall learn is diversity of living organisms. Diversity, I don't know, who knows what the word diversity means? You can raise your hand and you tell me, what do you think is the meaning of the word diversity? You can raise your hand. Anyone? I'm seeing Bavidia Marion, Birunji, Chantal, Elijah, Elise, Evans, and Patricia, Isaac, Jovio, Levi, Nicole, Tony, Timon, Joel, Redmi. So everyone is here. You can raise your hand and you tell me, what do you think is the meaning of the word diversity? Diversity, anyone? Or if you can try, don't fear. You can try. Bavidia Marion, would you want to try? When you want to communicate, you can unmute, or you can actually raise your hand and then I choose you, and then you are able to contribute something. Yes, Marion. Let me. Okay, Levin. Yes, Levin.
According to the Oxford Dictionary, it says that diversity is a range of different things.
Pardon? Diversity is?
Diversity is a range of different things or the state of being varied.
Okay, thank you very much, Levin. Diversity of means the state of so many things or having differences. Then Marion, yes, Marion, your hand is up. You can tell us. Yes, Marion, your hand is up. You can tell us what do you think is the meaning of diversity. Okay, so let us continue. Now, diversity, you are having so many different things, okay, like in different ways, different formats. So when you look at okay, let me mute this one. Okay, so when you look at diversity of living things, like there are so many. So because there are many, we divide diversity into so many topics. So first of all, you will be introduced to biology, and I'm here to introduce you very soon. So we shall introduce you to biology, and it will take us about 8 topics. We shall also introduce you to cells. We shall know what is a cell, what does it mean. We shall then introduce you to classification, how we group things. We shall learn insects in particular because they are a special group we shall see, as well as flowering plants. So this is the what we shall learn in the entire senior one, in the whole of it. Okay, senior one, that's what we shall be learning. Now let us go into topic by topic. Now, when I'm introducing you in the introduction, you are seeing life. Now, this was a bean seed which was thrown in soil, okay? And then after some days, 1 to 3 days, it begins thriving out. Now, this is on day 2, you can imagine. Then day 3, this is day 4. Then after 7 days, you can imagine life has come out of soil, okay? So when you are learning in the introduction, you, the learner, you should first of all appreciate that biology is the study of life. Life, as you are seeing this seed thriving and thriving and thriving, this is life. And then life processes. We shall learn about different life processes. And these different life processes are common to all living things, but they are manifested differently in different organisms. For example, how do you breathe? Do you think you breathe in the same way how a housefly breathes? Eh? Or do these plants breathe? Or do snakes breathe? How does a snake breathe? You see, all that we are going to learn in biology. How does a snake breathe? How do you breathe? Or the bacteria, do they breathe? Do they grow? Do they excrete? So we shall learn all those different life processes. And the competence that you require in the introduction is that you should be able to understand that biology is the study of life. Here we are no longer saying that smart biology is the study of living things and non-living things. Biology is the study of life, and that all living organisms experience common life processes. And they are actually 7. There are 7, and we shall be communicating. And normally we abbreviate them in an acronym, as me says grain. Me says grain. Okay, of course, we shall study in detail where M stands for movement, R for respiration, S for sensitivity, G for growth, R for reproduction, then excretion in nutrition, respiration. So these are the different life processes that we shall learn for different organisms, okay? And then another topic will be about cells. Now, the picture that you're seeing here, this is how this donut-shaped structure, which is red, this is the red blood cell. It is the cell which is responsible for your blood to be red. If you removed all the red blood cells from your body, it wouldn't appear red. Your blood wouldn't be red. So we shall learn about these cells. This is a white blood cell that you are seeing here. So under cells, you should be able to know the basic unit of living organism is a cell. And you will be able to understand the structure, the functioning of a typical animal and a plant cell. Okay. Well, these letters that you are seeing as K, U, S, K stands for knowledge, U stands for understanding, S stands for skills. So in each of what we call a learning outcome in this new curriculum, you will, certain learning outcomes will require you to develop, okay, knowledge, that is, you can remember what something is all about, understanding, that is, you can explain and describe, okay, and give more detailed information, and skills, that is, you can actually, for example, you can manipulate. So here we shall have to interact with microscopes so that we can see cells. When you suffer from malaria, what do you think the doctor does? You find that when you go to the hospital, they will inject you like a small pinch on your thumb, and then the doctor squeezes blood out of your thumb, puts it on a certain small piece of glass, and he goes away. And then he comes back and tells you, hey, we have seen you have typhoid, you don't have malaria. How do they know that? How do they know that? They get to know because they have the skill to use a microscope to see the cells, okay? And then there are some other types of cells that are specialized in your body. For example, the red blood cell, it is specialized to transport oxygen in your body. The white blood cell, it is specialized, it is a specialist in protecting your body from harmful disease-causing germs. Or the skin cells, they're supposed to protect you from harmful damage that is from the outside world, okay? So there are so many, or even plants, they also have certain specialized cells, as we shall see. Now, the competence in this is that you should be able to appreciate that a cell is the basic unit of life, and how the structures of different specialized cells are related to their function. For example, you can see this is a donut-shaped cell with a depression. Are you seeing this depression? It's like there is some space. Now, in this space, this is where the red blood cell stores oxygen as it is moving in your body. We shall be able to see even how they are able to even transport oxygen in your body in biology. Are you seeing that? And how they cooperate. That is in biology. And it will take us just 12 periods. Just 12 periods. Then we can go to another topic under the same theme, diversity. And you can see the topic is classification. To classify means to group things together or differently. For example, you are seeing this is, I don't know, which type of animal is this? Which type of animal is this? Which type of animals are you guys seeing? Let me pick some hands and you tell me which kind of animals are you able to see in the picture? Yes, Tendo.
I'm seeing a tiger.
You are seeing a tiger. Okay, thank you, Tendo. What about Owembabazi? What do you see? Owembabazi, Isabella. Which animal?
I'm seeing a salamander.
A salamander. Isabella is seeing a salamander. What about Babidie? Babidie, which animal are you seeing? Babidie is off. Evans and Patricia.
I'm seeing a fish.
Evans and Patricia. You should learn how. Yes, what are you seeing? You're seeing a tiger. Okay. What about Nicole?
I'm seeing a fish.
Nicole is seeing a tree. Okay. Babidie, what are you seeing?
I'm seeing a fish.
Thank you, Babidie Marion. Babidie is seeing a fish. Jovia is seeing a parrot. Jovia is seeing a parrot. Yeah. So that means you guys have been seeing these organisms. Are you seeing how biology, we have already been experiencing biology where you are, because you have seen a parrot, you have seen a salamander, you have seen a tiger. What about this thing here? Haven't you ever played with the insects? What about this one? These leaves. These leaves are of a jacaranda tree. Don't you have a jacaranda tree at home? Or these flowers, which look like sunflower flowers. They're sunflowers. Are you saying that? What about mushrooms? Don't you even eat them? They taste like what? How do they taste like? Who has ever tasted mushrooms here? Who has ever eaten mushrooms? Nicole, you have eaten mushrooms. How do they taste like?
They are really good, teacher.
Do they taste like a plant or an animal meat like plant?
No, they are way sweet.
Pardon?
They are way sweet.
They are way sweeter than plant material, eh? Yes, Joel.
Yeah.
Joel, how do they taste, mushrooms?
They taste spongy.
Spongy. Are they like chicken? Have you ever tasted those ones which look like chicken or meat?
Yes.
Thank you very much, Joel. Now, you will see that the structure of the mushroom is different. Like the cells that make up the mushroom, they are different from the cells that make up the plant. Actually, the cells that make up the mushrooms, they look like the cells that make up the insect material. That's why when you eat a grasshopper, it tastes different from the way how plants. And even when the mushrooms begin rotting, they will smell like as if a dead rat is decomposing. Why? Because biology is able to tell us that the material that makes up this mushroom is different, and so they are not plants. You cannot say that mushrooms are so they are much as they look like plants. So that competence is that you should be able to understand that classification is the sorting out of living things based on similarities. So basically, when you understand classification, you can be able to recognize diversity of living organisms and appreciate. You don't just say, this insect, kill it. No, you don't just kill an insect, okay? Because it contributes to our environment, and to even life. Okay, and then after understanding that, you must know that each organism was given a name, and it is a Latin name. There is a language that normally scientists use. It's called Latin, whereby each organism is given a genus name and a species name. We shall see. For example, that is genus, species, and the species name. Like even if you go to, for example, in Luganda, this is called a chiwuka, but it could have there could be so many different types. Or this one, you may find this type of fish. I'm assuming it's called engege in Luganda, but you cannot say engege to a white man and they understand engege. But when you say, hey, I've seen hypochromis, that is the species name. I've seen hypochromis. So the white man will be able to understand, hey, he's talking about a fish which has this kind of tail with fins. Oh, that is hypochromis. Maybe for them, they call it fish. So that's why we use a common language of Latin, as we shall see. Okay. And then we shall further study other organisms under this 5 kingdom system, as we shall see, looking at the first kingdom, Kingdom Monera. Now, Kingdom Monera, when you are learning it, it is made up of all bacteria. Did you know that you have bacteria in your mouth? Even as I speak now. Did you know that you have bacteria in your intestines? Did you know that you have bacteria right now on your skin? Even after showering, there are some bacteria there, even on your hands. Okay, so all those bacteria, we group them under 5 kingdoms. I'm not the one who invented these kingdoms as Bbumba, no. These kingdoms were invented or put forth about more than 200 years ago, actually more than 2,000 years ago, because the first person to classify living organism existed before Jesus Christ was born in 835 BC. That is before the birth of Jesus Christ, and he was called Aristotle. He first classified living organisms into plants and animals, Kingdom Plante, Kingdom Animalia, where he even wrote a book. He called his book The Natural Scale of Life. The natural scale. The natural scale of life. So that guy wrote that book before Jesus Christ was born, Aristotle. A nature scala, the natural scale of life. And under this kingdom, after some years, there was a guy who was called Carl Linnaeus. Carl Linnaeus is the one who brought the another guy who was called Robert Was. They brought in the 5 kingdom system, whereby the first kingdom of organisms that you cannot see using your naked eye is called Kingdom Monera, because this is where we look at different bacteria, and we understand the uses of bacteria. We understand their harmful effects, okay, characteristics of the cells of those organisms under Kingdom Monera, okay, and how we can manipulate them. For example, these are rod-shaped bacteria. Actually, we can even classify bacteria basing on their shape, how they respire, where we have aerobic and anaerobic bacteria. So basically, the competency, the entire general competency or learning outcome is that you should be able to know the key characteristics. Okay. Yes, Yvette, Lucy, Yvette. Okay. Okay, let me make that. So you should be able to understand, the learner should be able to know that the key characteristics. I think, do you know the meaning of the word characteristics? Long time ago when they were taking pictures of young children, especially those who had started plucking their teeth, they would do, they would tell them to say the word characteristics. They will say the word characteristics. Okay. And then these kids would say characteristics and then they would smile. So do you know the meaning of the word characteristics? Before I go on, you can raise your hand and you tell me the meaning of the word characteristics. Anyone? I'm seeing we're having many people here. You can tell us the meaning of the word character. Yes, Tendo Joy. What does characteristic mean?
Things that can show something where it belongs.
Okay, thank you, Tendo Joy. Something which can show where something belongs. Yes, Waninda Joel.
Features that identify an organism.
Features. You are bringing in the word features. Well, what does it mean? Let's see from Isabella. Isabella.
Things that make.
Things that make. Okay. Yes, Tendo Joy, you want to add on? Tendo Joy.
No, I just forgotten my hand.
Okay, Tendo. Hey, thank you for all those. So characteristic, things that are unique to something. For example, every man has 2 legs. Have you ever seen a man with 3 legs? Every man and woman, they have 2 eyes. We have 2 hands. So those are characteristic. When you find a dog, it has how many hands? Okay, for it, you may not call them hands, but limbs over legs. So we shall see that for when this guy, Carl Linus and Robert Wass were making the 5 kingdom system, okay, they say that for you to be placed, if you are an organism, to be placed under kingdom Monera, then you must be invisible to the naked eye, that we cannot see you. You are unicellular and you are microscopic. We cannot see using the naked eye. Okay. For you to be placed under kingdom Protoctista is another kingdom. Now, this kingdom Protoctista again involves, we call them protists. Pro means before. Like these ones, there are some organisms which existed long ago, but they are weird. Like they have characteristics of plants, but at the same time, they have characteristics of animals. They have characteristics of Monera, like they are there in between. So those that they fail to place them anywhere, they are placed under kingdom Protoctista. And most of them, again, we cannot see them using the naked eye. Where do we find them? They are actually found in ponds. If you go to the village and you begin playing in that muddy water, you're going to be interacting with them. You are swimming with them in that trench water. You may pick protists on the soil, in dry leaves or in those wet leaves. You may find them there. Okay. Then going forward, another kingdom is fungi. This is where we find mushrooms, toadstools, and so on and so forth. Now we shall have to understand the uses and harmful effects. Did you know that there are some mushrooms When you eat them, you die. They are poisonous. Did you? Actually, some people would use them long time ago in the days of Aleman. I think you heard of Aleman. If they wanted to kill, for example, certain animals or certain people, they would use mushrooms. And that's why you don't just eat any type of mushroom. There are specific mushrooms that are edible. There are specific mushrooms that are edible. There are some that even cause hallucinations. Hallucination, it means that you begin seeing things, yet they are not there. Like mad people, you find someone talking to themselves, they are seeing cars, they are seeing they are in the aeroplane, they are seeing they are dancing. You see them when they are like conversing with some people and they are making jokes. So you find someone laughing alone. So they're having hallucinations, okay? And then you should also be able to understand the value of them and also food making processes. And I think you've seen these organisms being packaged. These are organisms, by the way, in biology, what you should not forget, all living organisms, we refer to them as organisms. Man, you, a girl and a boy, you are organisms. I am an organism. A plant is an organism. A bacteria is an organism. Like if it were Luganda, it would be called a chitonde, like a creation, something like an organism, okay? So we are every living organism, like they're all organisms. You can refer to them as that. So then from kingdom, so far we have seen Monera that we shall study under this classification. We have also seen Protoctista. We have also seen fungi. Now, another kingdom. Guess which kingdom is this? When you look at this, what comes to your mind? Can I have hands? And you tell us, what do you think is the next kingdom by looking at those pictures? Yes, Isabella.
Plant kingdom.
Isabella says plant kingdom. What about you, Ellis?
The plant kingdom.
Okay, thank you, Ellis and Isabella. Yes, Timon. Timon, do you agree with them? Timon. When you are chosen, you unmute, and then you are able to tell us. Yes, Timon.
Kingdom Plante.
Kingdom Plante. And you are speaking using Latin Plante. You've seen Isabella saying plant kingdom, Ellis plant kingdom. So when you look at this, these are plants. And in the message 11 is saying kingdom Plante. When you see, you don't say kingdom plant, it is Plante, Plante, with the A and then E, Plante. Yeah. So kingdom Plante, this is where these guys, Robert Was, they say that whichever organism is able to make its own food, I repeat, whichever organism is able to make its own food, it should be called a plant. It should be placed under kingdom Plante. And most of them, they're going to be green. The green is called chlorophyll, to be able to trap sunlight energy, and it makes for you that banana which you ate for your breakfast. It will make for you that tomato which you are going to add to the recipe when you are frying food. And it contains certain nutrients which you need, like lycopene. So in biology, we study all these things. This is called chirungo. Lycopene inside here. It is good for your skin. It's good for your digestion. You need matoke. You see, you need matoke to get carbohydrates. So these plants make for us food. So the competence is that you should be again able to learn all the characteristics of plants. You should be able to identify plants. So when we are looking at the plant kingdom, we shall see that we place, we have certain categories where we have vesicular and non-vesicular. This word vesicular comes from vessel. Vessel means some kind of a structure which can hold these things. Maybe your mom or dad saying, you go and get me the other flower vase. They are just abbreviating vessel. Simanya flower vase over flower vessel, the over pot where you place the flower. Now, there are some plants which have vessels, which are hollow tubes through which water and food are transported. Within the plant, you are seeing this stalk of a stem of this tomato plant. Inside, there are vessels. That is the vessel which transports water, it's called the xylem. And the vessel which transports food inside is called phloem. You see, and that's why when they looked at these plants, they saw that there are some plants with those vessels, phloem and xylem, so they call them vesicularized plants. But there are some plants that don't have those vessels, phloem and xylem. You can imagine, how do they now transport water and food inside? We shall learn that in biology. Then we also have angiosperms. Now, angio, then sperms. Now, angiosperms, these ones produce plants which can produce flowers. Do you think there are plants that cannot produce flowers? Okay. Who, by show of hands, you can raise your hand and you tell me, have you ever met some plants that never produce flowers? Never produce flowers. Yes, Joel. Waninda.
I've seen that the pine tree does not produce flowers.
Thank you, Joel. Perfect answer. Yes, the pine. Now, those pines, they will fall under the gymnosperms. These ones don't produce flowers. Okay, they don't produce flowers. Who has seen any other type of tree or plant that does not produce flowers? Who has seen any? Yes, Babidi, Marion.
Mango tree.
Hey, Babidi, are you sure a mango does not produce flowers?
Yes.
Let me ask these people and they tell me whether the mango does not produce flowers. You guys, dear students, Elijah, do you think a mango produces flowers? Or,
No, teacher.
hey, it doesn't produce.
It produces. It produces.
Hey, okay, thank you, Elijah. What about you, Isaac? Isaac, do you think, do you know of any plant that don't produce flowers? Isaac, any plant that does not produce flowers? Isaac is still thinking about it. Maybe Yvette Lucy. Lucy, do you know of any plant that does not produce flowers? Or Tony?
No.
No. Okay. Joel, yes, Joel.
Cypress.
There's also cypress. We shall be able to understand you, Joel. We shall be able to understand all these. Then Jovio is saying pine. Okay. Now you guys have forgotten we are in November, heading to December, when we normally, like the Christians normally celebrate. They normally celebrate what we call Christmas. Those Christmas trees. They're called junipers. Scientifically, it's called Juniperus ashae. Now, the junipers, the Christmas tree, commonly called Obkomera, junipers. Have you ever seen their flowers? The Kakomera Christmas tree, the junipers, do they produce flowers? So we shall be able to understand all those plants and even how we group them. We also have classes in plants. Waninda Joe is saying that, sir, I have a mango tree flower. Hey, you see, Joe even has the mango tree flower. So actually, we shall be getting those pictures so that we can even see them. Then we can also group them into monocots and dicots. Monocotyledons, we shall see that those are plants which look like grass. Any plant that has narrow leaves with parallel leaf veins, it is a monocot. Any plant that looks like grass with its leaves that look like those of grass, monocot, you see? So we shall be understanding all those things. Then looking at that picture, again under Kingdom Animalia, which kingdom do you think is next that we shall study? Hey, which kingdom do you think? Yes, Isabella?
Animal kingdom.
Animal kingdom. Hey, Kingdom Animalia. This is where you fall. Actually, I even forgot to put here your head. As an animal, we are all animals. A frog is an animal. A spider is an animal. A butterfly is an animal. You see? Because recently you used to think that an animal, you were thinking of an elephant, lion, antelope, zebra. But even a butterfly is an animal. This guy is Robert Was. When they were bringing on the 5 kingdom system, they said any organism that can move from one place to another, it should fall under Kingdom Animalia, as long as it has, it is big and made up of many cells. That's why anything that you see walking, you can see with your eyes walking, it is an animal, it falls under Kingdom Animalia. And so we shall be able to identify them, describe the common characteristics, and then we divide them into about 9 phyla. We shall see what we mean by phyla. For now, I'm still giving you an overview, so you may not talk about this thing of, it's like a division where we have phylum Porifera, the sponges, phylum Coelenterata. Nowadays they call it Nidarians because they stay in oceans and they can throw stinging needle cells. You can imagine if you have ever seen those jellyfish on TV. A jellyfish is poisonous. If you go to the ocean and you swim and you are next to it, it can throw stinging cells called needlesites into your cells and you die. And every year, in US and those other countries where people go and swim in oceans, there are more than 100 deaths reported due to being stung by the jellyfish. Then we have platyhelminthes. These are flatworms. For some of you who enjoy eating the meat which was forbidden, there's a meat which they forbid people to eat in the Bible. I think what is called a pig. If you eat, have you ever eaten pigs? So, and if you eat them half cooked, you are going to invite these guys, the platyhelminthes, the flatworms, into your stomach, or the nematodes. These are round worms, or the annelids, annelida. These are segmented worms. The common one, you actually see it when it rains, the earthworm, or the leech. For some of you who play in ponds, Evinoso, leeches, they fall under annelida, or snails, mollusca, or starfish, sea cucumber, sea anemones, they will all fall under echinodermata, or arthropods. Here, they have actually 5 classes: insecta, crustaceans, centipede, myriapoda, diplopoda, they all fall under arthropoda. These classes of, there's a class insecta under phylum arthropoda that we gave even a special topic of insects. because they are so much important. Okay, we shall study insects but they are gotten from this phylum Arthropoda. Okay, then lastly, kingdom Animalia. We shall understand how they behave, how they respire, basically the other 7 life processes. Okay, and then the learning outcomes is I should be able to describe common observable characteristics, whereby you can look at their teeth, temperature regulation. There are some that we call homeothermic that are able to maintain their body temperature. And then there are those that determine their body temperature depending on where they are in the environment, their habitats, where they stay, reproduction. How do they produce babies? We shall see each animal, whether it is a frog, how does a frog produce its baby? Or how does a spider produce its baby? Or a cockroach, how does it produce its baby? Or a bedbug in your bed, how does it produce its baby? How do they exchange gases with the environment or in water? How do the fish breathe? And we shall give examples of organisms from different phylum, or like, for example, chordata. This is chordata. This is where we place organisms that have vertebral bones. For example, here we have a vertebral bone. Goats have a vertebral bone. Cows have a vertebral bone. Which other animal do you think has a vertebral bone? You could tell us which other animal has a vertebral bone. Okay, yes, Joel.
Fish.
Okay, thank you very much. Fish have a vertebral bone, so the fish will also fall under this phylum. And then we shall need to use again Timon is saying pigs too. Hey, probably, yes, they have. So viruses, you are seeing now, the picture that you are seeing here is a coronavirus. You are now listening to me because of this guy, coronavirus. Otherwise, you wouldn't have met me probably. So this is a coronavirus, and there are so many different types of viruses. So we shall study about them in this new curriculum, and we shall study their characteristics. A special emphasis will be put on HIV because it is among us, Ebola, because it is in the neighboring country here in Congo, it can easily come to us. Hepatitis, there are so many, but basically we shall talk about hepatitis B because it is more prevalent within this region. Cassava mosaic, there's cassava mosaic, and so on and so forth. But the special emphasis will be placed on these viruses. And then so that you can understand the characteristics of viruses, their means of infection and transmission, as well as symptoms and their key examples. Insects, I've already commented about them. We shall also be talking about insects. And then flowering plants, those that can produce flowers, we shall also be talking about them. Those are the angiosperms, as I commented. Now, how shall we be assessing biology? Like looking at those things that have been called learning outcomes. Now, the learning outcome in the syllabus, they are set out in terms of knowledge, understanding, and skills. So those learning outcomes, you're supposed to gain all of them, the knowledge bit of them, of a learning outcome, which is like what you're supposed to learn in each topic, understanding and the skill. Then also attitude, but this one is somehow personal and variable over a long period of time. And so when you're learning knowledge, it's just to recall information. Now, the previous curriculum, that's what it was centered on. Understanding, we shall be asking you to explain, to compare, to outline a process. Or orally, that is like by word of mouth, or even written, or by writing. The skills, we shall be doing some practicals and physical operations, looking at diagrams, drawing pictures, drawing tables. All those ones are skills that we shall be looking at. Now, you guys must know that there are no examinations. End of term, there will be no examination. It's my end of term, end of week, weekly, it's my monthly tests. Those ones for you, no. We shall be following what we call formative assessment. So there will no longer be examinations or tests set at the end of each year. Instead, we shall be summing up these assessments, which me, the teacher, will be giving you all, and then the final examination will be when you are done with yours, that end of that senior 4. That's when you do that final exam. Okay, at the end of senior 4, that is the major exam that you will do. And formative assessment, how will it change? Because some of you may be worried now, these things will be too much. How will I even remember these things? Why don't they be giving us at least end of term? Now, the syllabus is going to be set out of what we call learning outcomes. And with the teacher, we shall be following, and all the lessons we shall be preparing, they seek to achieve the outcome. So the assessment will be finding out whether the outcome has been achieved or it has not been achieved. And so we shall be basing on that to promote you to the next class. And we can, how can we do that? We can just observe, watching you do work. Okay, that is observation. We can have a conversation with you, the learner. We ask you certain questions. We talk to you. Okay, and then we can give you to rate like a report, or you do a calculation, or you present to your members, or you make a diagram so that we can see whether you have achieved the outcome. Okay, and then we shall be recording for each learning outcome. Like in each topic, we shall be recording whatever you have gotten. For example, we shall be having, for example, what we call, and we put a descriptor and an identifier. For example, I can say in this topic of cells, Isabella or Alice or Isaac or anyone has not understood any learning outcome, like you've not understood that topic. So I may give you 0 on that. And so when I see that you have achieved the sum, but not like, for example, I can judge this topic you have understood like 40%, I could give you 1. And then when I say this guy has understood probably about 70% you have understood, I could give you like 2. And when I say that, hey, this guy has understood everything, then I can give you 3. And how is that? For example, if this is Isabel, and then maybe Alice or Joel, or Elijah or Marion, anyone, Levin, Abigail, or Lucy. So anyone over Lucy here. So this information I can easily see that topic 1, maybe topic 1 was introduction, intro, and then topic 2 was cells. So I can say that Isabella, I gave Isabella 3, that is he understood all the learning outcomes. That's what you must have understood in that topic of cell. For example, you should be able to draw the animal and plant cell. You see that? Okay, and so here you will, this is just an example which I want you to understand. And so when I say you're having qualifier 3, it means you understood entirely. You understood, okay? So, and actually this report can easily tell us that learner F actually didn't achieve anything, so you cannot be promoted. And learner A scored better. And maybe topic 2 was better understood than maybe topic, which topic here? Maybe topic 1 was least understood than topic, let's say 9. So topic 9 was well understood. And then, so that's what I've been commenting. And then these are some of the descriptions and the general terms that we shall be interacting with, for example, when we are learning competency, differentiation, formative assessment, generic. So these are just general words which we shall be meeting, and over time we shall be explaining them to you slowly, and you'll be learning them. For now, you don't need to cram anything, okay? And we are going to be developing knowledge together as we search for the hero inside ourselves. So thank you for this presentation. Maybe the administrators, if you have anything to say, for me, I'm done with the presentation. Teacher Isaac or Drusilla, are you there?
Yes, I am. Thank you very much, Mr. Bbumba. Yes. Dear learners, let's give flowers to Mr. Bbumba for that beautiful lesson. And I want to thank you. Thank you very much for attending, and thank you for choosing senior1.org e-learning platform. Now, this is just the beginning. There is a lot we are yet to receive, okay? Continue passing on the information to others. Mr. Gwal, do you have something to add?
Okay, thank you, Teacher Drusilla. Thank you very much, Mr. Bbumba Patrick, for taking the learners through this session. I can see Timon has his hand up. Do you have a question? Please, if you have, you can talk. Timon, your hand is up. Do you have any question to the teacher? Okay, I think he has lowered down his hand. So thank you very much, Teacher Bbumba, for this lesson. To the students or to our learners today, what we need to take back home is that with this new lower secondary curriculum, emphasis is put on what you, the learner, is expected to do. What can you do at the end of the lesson? Have you attained any skill? Have you gotten the knowledge? After getting the knowledge, are you in a position to go ahead and apply the knowledge? Like our teacher has been sharing with us. Now, after you've been taught, can you do something? This is what this curriculum is focusing on. This is what you will be expected to do at school. You will be discussing, you will be making research like our teachers told us with the books. You can go to the library, you can use internet. So this time around, our smartphones that we are having at homes shouldn't just be taken for WhatsApp, for Facebook. No, the smartphone is now a very, very great tool to help you, the learner, learn at your own pace, make research, gain some skills after you've watched some videos from YouTube, from some other educational websites. So put it at the back of your minds, our learners, that emphasis is on what you can do, not the knowledge you have. If you have too much knowledge and you cannot apply that knowledge, then that knowledge becomes useless. We want to see you good doctors. Yes, you carry out an operation and your operations are all successful. This is what we want to get from you, and this is what you are expected to do. Like our teacher said, much of the work will be done by you, the students. The teacher gives you an activity. In every topic you learn, an activity is given. or several activities are given to you. You do the activities in group. Then at the end of the topic, you have that activity of integration. That activity of integration contributes 20% of your final marks after the 4 years. So you have to make sure that you do these things. You don't dodge the lessons even when you go to your schools. If you like dodging lessons, if you miss the activity of integration, then you're missing some marks. But emphasis is on skill acquisition. And this is what we want you to go out with, even from senior1.org. For your friends who are not with us, try to tell them what you are learning, how you're benefiting from our lessons. You also give us your feedback so that we make improvements. Otherwise, students and parents who have trusted senior1.org, we also promise you success, nothing else but success. Otherwise, for now, I don't want to take a lot of time. I don't know whether Mr. Dumba Stephen is with us. Yes, Mr. Dumba Stephen is on the call. I'm not seeing him, but for now, Drusilla, I give you the, you can write something on the whiteboard. I see you're writing for the learners. Okay, that is the contact that we can share with our friends if they want to go ahead and make some payments. It is 0200 907 137. Then our website is just senior1.org. senior1.org. That is our website. You can also get the recordings if your network has been disturbing you. You can also go on YouTube. On YouTube, you'll type senior1UG. You'll be in a position to access the recordings of this lesson and other lessons. That is if you have missed out some lessons. Yes, that is the website as we can see from the screen. Okay, email. You can remove that space between art and senior1. Yes. So members, thank you very much, students. For now, I can say goodbye. I give the microphone to Teacher Drusilla. Teacher Drusilla, your mic might be muted.
Thank you so
Okay.
much, Mr. Kwao. I think students were given an assignment to write your experience on the COVID. You write your COVID experience, the holiday you're having. Please write those essays and send them to the WhatsApp number we have given to you. Endeavor to write. Tomorrow we are meeting again for a physics lesson. Same time, the links will be sent as early as possible in the morning. Otherwise, thank you for choosing us. We are yet to give you more. We shall reach and exceed your expectations. Thank you so much. I think we should have a beautiful day. Isabella, you have a question?
How do we send the work on WhatsApp? Should we take the picture and send it?
It is okay, my dear. It is okay. You can do that. If there is anything, yes, Joel?
Some of us do not have phones. We have just done the work in the laptops. Is there a Google Classroom?
Yes, but for now we are using that WhatsApp.
then, Joel, you can as well send your work using the email they have provided. Madam Drusilla,
Yes, please.
could you please type the email on the chat as well, so that they are in position to, yes, here is the email. Try to type it in the chat so that they can as well write down.
Okay.
info@senior1.org.
This is info@senior1.org.
Wow.
I have written it as info senior1.
Okay, so students, you can use that email to forward your assignments. Then Google Classroom, we are building it. We are soon sending you the link or the codes to make you enroll to that classroom as well.
Thank you very much, Mr. Well. I think learners, thank you very much for attending once again. We should have a beautiful day. We'll meet tomorrow. Don't forget, please attend tomorrow's lesson. It is physics at 10 a.m. Have a good day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.